Yes, people, myself, TS, welcome back to another NoFilterTS, and in this one, just talking about Mikel Arteta. He signed a new contract at the club. Obviously, his current contract was due to run out the end of next season, so 2023. He signed a new 3-year deal, keeping him till 2025. Obviously, done a joint signing with the manager of the women's team, who, their title challenge is going into the final weekend of the season, so, credit to Jonas for that. But yeah, Arteta said that the club offered him the new deal on the day that we'd lost 3 games in a row, and it is more. I'd say, in my opinion, it's a smart move. It's kind of like a vote of confidence thing. Like, look, don't worry, this has been a roller coaster season, but we do want you for the long term. And you'd have to say that the club have always seemed to be really behind Mikel Arteta. You think about the form some points of last season where it was in a really bad run. I think everyone thought the Chelsea game last season is where we were going to lose, and he probably would have finally got the chop, and it didn't. We ended up kind of comfortably beating Chelsea on the day and kind of pushed on from there. Obviously there's a lot of fans that still aren't happy with the manager, and now I'm not one to front. After the first 3 games of the season when we'd lost 3 games, I was thinking, if this doesn't turn around, he's going to have to go, to be honest with you. I was thinking he's probably gone after the 3 losses to start the season. But no matter what, he always manages to pull it out of the bag. And, I think one thing we'd have to say this season is, we'd go in bad runs of form and we'll be able to bounce back. Obviously, of recent, the last 3 games, it wasn't good enough at all. Not the exact last 3, but the last 3 games that we lost in a row at the time wasn't good enough at all. But other than that, throughout the season, there's been, times where we'd lose a game. It could be like Liverpool, then we'll bounce back. So you'd have to give the team props for that. Obviously, that Man City game was at New Year's Day, which, was playing really well in that game as well. Obviously, lost it in the end, but we saw some positives. And yeah, I think the timing of the contract may be a bit odd. I think, if we'd, if and when the season was done, or you could have, to be honest with you could have announced it on the last day of the season at full time. Last day of the season we're playing Everton. You could have announced it there and then. It's guaranteed now that we've got European football for next season. Whether that's Europa League or Champions League. Obviously, the majority of us want it to be Champions League. Well, I think everyone wants it to be Champions League. Last game of the season at Everton probably would have been a perfect time to announce it at full time. But it is what it is. Obviously, I feel like the club's trying to do certain stuff to kind of motivate the players, to kind of get them over the line. You think of the players talking with the Invincibles a couple weekends ago. I feel like that's meant to be like motivation to become like, come on boys, like I know look, we can do this. You're close to getting back into that top 4, and the club can push on. We can do this. So having the Invincibles back there, I think, is one thing. I think Arteta signing is also for players like Saka, who they want to tie down his future. It's kind of like, look, the manager, the manager likes you a lot. You're probably number 1 on his team sheet. He's tying himself down for a new deal. If any players were trying to get in the summer, it's kind of to say like, look, the manager can say, look, I'm contracted here till 2025. And yeah, obviously some people are not happy with him getting a new deal. But at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. If things don't go well, all the new deal means he's going to get sacked. That's the reality of it. Obviously there's a lot of people that, are not fans of the manager. And like I said towards the beginning of this video, there's been times I've been critical of him. But, in the summer, I was thinking, we've got no European football this season. I was thinking the best thing for us, this is our best chance to get back into the top 4. Obviously, of now, it isn't yet confirmed. But, off the back of 2 8th place finishes, the fact that we will be back in some form of European competition, you would have to say it is progression from last season. Obviously, there's been a lot of players that's had to be, cleared out. Obviously, not made any, financial gain on them. But there's been a lot of tough decisions to be made by the manager. And, he's made them, and the team have managed to continue doing relatively okay since. So, for me, I've got nothing against the news of him getting a new deal. Maybe the timing of it isn't ideal, but, the reality of it is it's done now, Same way like we was a bit annoyed about the Aubameyang situation, it's done now. like, a lot of the situations is done. Like, you can't keep like living in the past. Like, the news was dropped yesterday, it's done. Like, all we can do now is move on to the Leeds game tomorrow, and also at the same time hope that Liverpool, smash up Tottenham this evening. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it all. I'd be grateful to get your thoughts on it in the comment section below, and if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button now, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.